Hi everyone, Rose here from the Zendesk Startups Team, and today I'm going to be talking about getting started with channels. First things first, what is a channel? A channel is a way in which a customer can get in contact with your company. Email could be a channel, chat is a channel, phone, maybe even your social media. Those are all possible ways in which a customer can get in contact with you and your team. But why are they so important? If a customer has all these possibilities to reach out to your company, and maybe they're going through multiple channels at once with the same problem, but you don't have a cohesive view of a customer to see all the different places they're reaching out and all the different questions or problems that they have, then how are you really able to support that customer? What good is making another channel available if they channel switch and you have no idea what's going on? So that's what we like to call multi-channel, whereas in Zendesk, you can have all of those channels piled into one cohesive view of the customer, ultimately creating an omni-channel approach. So via our startups benchmark reporting, we've found that fast-growing startups are more likely to use an omni-channel strategy. Not only that, but omni-channels cut wait times. So they were more likely to use omnichannel and chat support to help cut wait times and build more efficient teams. That is why today I wanted to take you through the channels that are available to you in Zendesk. We're going to go through them and also configure them all within our support account here. So as I said, now I'm in my support account, and this is a relatively new support account. I haven't done too much configuration, which is why this great call to action on the home page when I log in is to set up my support email. It lets me know here that I actually already have a support email that's set up, but because I've already given my customers a support email that has my domain, I'm going to configure that email within this account. I can go ahead and do that by clicking here, but instead I'm just going to click into my settings and scroll down in my admin settings to the channel section. Again, as I mentioned, these are the admin settings. So if you're not seeing these channel settings, it could be a permissions issue. And if you're not seeing a specific channel, chat, for example, it may be because you're not on the correct plan that has chat available within these channel settings and available within your plan. But I started with email, so let's go back there. I'm in the email settings now, and I have all these possible configuration settings. The first one, though, is just enabling the support addresses. I mentioned I don't really want to use this Zendesk one, though it's available to me if I need it. Instead, I'm going to hover over this Add Addresses and click Connect External Address. I have the option to put my address in here, but fortunately, I am using a G Suite account, so I get to click this nice button with a really easy integration. I've decided not to create tickets for my last 50 emails, though if I wanted to, I could do that here. I'm going to click Sign In with Google, and I got lots of email addresses here. I'm going to click into my business email address, hit Allow. And just like that, I'm going to see this channel enabled within my Zendesk instance. So now every email that is sent to rose@thethornyrose.co is going to be created as a ticket in my Zendesk instance. Great. As I scroll down, I can enable or disable some of these. The one that I would mention taking a look at is this email template. I know some companies are really concerned about their brand and the look and feel of the emails that are being sent out to their customers. So you may want to edit the HTML here. But a lot of these are just email and security settings that could be important to your organization. But to get started, I was able to add this email address, and that's a good place to start. All right, going down the list here, let's check out Twitter. So Twitter settings. You can add your company Twitter as a channel to Zendesk support, and we're going to convert tweets to tickets. Tweets between your Twitter account and Twitter users are captured in tickets. So we have our general settings here, which is just how the tickets are going to appear. So do we want to append the ticket links to the outgoing tweets? And we can enable that in the admin center, but I'm going to go ahead and configure a Twitter account. So I'm going to click add your first Twitter account here. And I'm going to log in and authorize this app. It sends me an authorization code, which I can really quickly grab my phone. And I'm not supposed to show this, but I'll blank it out. And there we go. Again, another authorization. This is going to give you an outline as exactly what Zendesk is going to have access to into your account, your Twitter account. And I'm comfortable with that. So I am going to authorize my account. All right. So now tweets that were created prior to the addition of the monitor Twitter account, as it says here, if a tweet existed prior to you configuring this account, it's not going to be pulled in. But now that we've configured this, it's going to start monitoring the tweets and the people tweeting at my business account. Great. Now that we can communicate with our Twitter followers or our customers via Zendesk, let's check out chat. When I click into chat, it's going to bring me to the chat interface. But if I'm already using the agent workspace, when I'm in my support account, I can set my status here, online, await, invisible. And when chats come in, I'm going to get a little notification right here. But if I do want to set some settings, create chat triggers, maybe get some analytics or monitor the real-time queue, I can do that from within chat, along with, as I mentioned, setting the routing of chats. If you want to do any shortcuts, you'll have that possible as well. Triggers is really, really powerful. The same way you can create triggers in support, you can create proactive greetings. You can let people know that the queue is really large and you're not going to be able to answer for a minute, 2 minutes. Tagging repeat visitors, for example. Creating triggers is really great because, you don't want to have to wait for the customers to reach out to you nowadays. When you visit websites, you'll see the little button down here saying, hey, it looks like you've been on this page for a while. Do you need any help? Does the support article work? You can even utilize contextual information via the widget, which we'll get into in a little bit. It's actually the perfect segue back into support and down to Facebook. All right, so don't have any Facebook pages set up, but fortunately I do have one for my business. So I am going to continue and add my business page. It linked it, and it was just as easy as that. It's now going to bring me back to support, and I get this nice little reminder that I'm using the agent workspace. And now I'm back to my Facebook settings. So as you can see here, I can see what's been enabled from Facebook and what will happen in support based on what's enabled. And I can make any of those changes if necessary, or I can even add another page if necessary. Next, we have Talk, which is going to be another Zendesk product. We use Twilio numbers, and you can go into your Talk settings to actually configure that number for you. I already went ahead and added a number, which you'll find within your number section. But if you were to click on this without having done so before, it's going to take you through the process of creating that number. Now I'm presented with the settings. I can toggle whether or not I want to utilize Talk. I can set a maximum queue size, maximum wait size. If I want some nice live call recording, this depends on, what state you're in. You may want to toggle this, enable or disable. I can even set different greetings, maybe an IVR if I have different teams and I want people to be able to select which organization they'd like to talk to. I've mentioned the widget once before. You can add a widget configuration here, which would allow for people to call from the web widget. There's a dashboard if you are interested in that real-time analytics of talk channel tickets. And of course, history and usage charges. And this will be of a little more importance and interest once you're buying talk credits. You can track how many you've been using here. Great. Similar to talk, we have our text. And this is where you're going to be able to activate your numbers. You'll see the addresses that you have along with the history. Similar, very similar to the talk, though. Of course, there's a couple less settings in here. All right, this is potentially the moment we've all been waiting for. We're going to take a look at the web widget. This is another channel, and you may already be familiar with the web widget channel if you have utilized Guide and built out your help center. You may use it as a potential place for individuals to search. Of course, you may also have this lovely search bar up top, but you can have this set up so that it follows your user around your website, and you can even copy and paste the HTML to put it on pages that are non-help center pages. And I already went ahead and configured this widget, but I can take a look at some of the settings that I've enabled. So one of them being contact form. It allows me to understand who's talking to me via the web widget. If I allow for chat, I can even include some ticket forms, which would be configured within my manage settings. Basically a list of preset fields that we need a customer to fill out in order to, resolve an issue. That can be created in a ticket form and then enabled to be utilized in a web widget. I enabled Zendesk Chat to make that available for my users. I also enabled the Help Center to deflect questions and give people the possibility of using self-service, pushing them towards Guide. I think the first line of defense should always be self-service, and you should always remind your customer of that, which is why I've enabled that Help Center. Contextual help is a really awesome functionality. You can decide on which pages, on pages of your website, of your help center, whichever, you can decide which articles correlate with those pages. If there's a specific reporting section in your tool that people get pretty confused by, you can link to that support article specific to that report. Security settings are in here if that's one of your considerations. I mentioned earlier that you can allow for users to call you via the web widget, and you can do a little more customization down here, like what side of the page you want it to be on, etc. But let's take a look at the setup. This is where I mentioned you get that HTML to add to your website. But I actually went here and I said add to Help Center, which is what allowed for this web widget here. I'm going to say hello, and nothing comes up for that. If I click live chat, I can live chat from the web widget, which is, again, kind of two channels working together at once here. And there it is. I can accept that here. And this is really giving you, this is channels in action here. We have the web widget being a channel, chat within the web widget being channel, and you can see those channels coming into this one ticket interface. Of course, I can chat back, but if for whatever reason I wanted to end this chat to follow up via email, I would do that with a public reply or even a call. And it's all from the same ticket interface. And this is really, really, really the true showcase of what omnichannel is in Zendesk. All of these channels, channel switching, your customer channel switching, you can do both all within the same conversation and interface with your customer. But now that we get a better understanding of the web widget and utilizing chat within the web widget, look at that. I'm apologizing to myself because I'm busy at the moment. I can head back to support settings and take a look at a couple more channels here. Next is this API. So I'm not going to get too deep into the details of the API right now because there is a lot of awesome developer documentation. If you click here, you'll probably be directed to that. And there's so many possibilities that can be built upon our Zendesk APIs. It really depends on your team and your company's needs. Just know that if I didn't mention a channel that you're utilizing, you could leverage our APIs to build one out custom. Next is the mobile SDK. So the mobile SDK is to use if your product or your service is found, it has a heavy mobile use case. So if your customers are always on your app, you definitely want to utilize the mobile SDK. This is going to allow for your customers to chat right from your app and create tickets right within Zendesk, just like we saw before with that chat web widget. It would open up a ticket just the same, but the source would be from your actual web, or your actual app. Lastly, I do want to draw your attention to this channel integrations page. If APIs is the customization, then channel integrations is utilizing other people's customizations, bringing in the other tools you're using into Zendesk, and you'll do so by checking out all the possibilities on the Zendesk
That concludes
marketplace.
our getting started with channels. I hope you learned a little bit more about channels, how to enable and configure them, along with what it means to provide an omni-channel experience, which, as a reminder, is an indicator of fast-growing startups, something I'm sure we all want to be. Thank you again, and as always, additional resources will be linked in the description below.